Hello, welcome. I'm Claudine and thank you so much for listening to this IGTV. Happy Sunday. So I decided to do a IGTV on going live, and one of the reasons why I decided to do that is because it was one of the questions that came up in my Business Development Sunday about content creation. And also as well, one of my most popular posts is about hating going on camera. So I can see that that is a particular challenge for some people. But even if it's not a challenge, sometimes you have not had a chance to go live, and you can just kind of try and do a bit of trial and error, or you can listen to this IGTV where I share how you can do this. So it's kind of ironic that I'm talking about going live when I'm not necessarily going live, because I tend to go live previously on Sundays, but I've just been taking time to just have a break on Sundays. It's not really a big ask to go live because I only kind of go live for 15 minutes, but I've just been caught up in other things. So I should have really done it live, but you're still getting the tips because I've gone live quite a few times. So one of the questions that people usually ask is, should they go live? Is it a good thing to do? And I will say that it is a good thing to do, especially for the Instagram algorithm, and I'm sure even going live on Facebook and even on LinkedIn, it's always really good to go live, because it's the latest features. So I always say that we should always use the latest features, and I did do a carousel on that, on the importance of that, because these platforms put so much money into their new tools and new features, so they want people to use it, so they do optimize people's profiles who actually use those tools. And people may ask, what should I discuss on live? And I would say, you've got people twerking on lives, you can discuss anything, but even if you're doing a live, I would just and I will say that one of the questions that also come up is how you should present yourself. Like, for instance, I've got some notes here and I'm sharing that with you, so you will see me looking down. But one of the most important things with anything is just to be authentic. I'm not a news reader. None of us are news readers. We're not news anchors, so we can look at our notes and just have some prompts that help us with these lives. So in terms of what you should discuss, what is valuable to your audience, that's the best thing to discuss. You can even extend your post. So if you did a post that was a high performing post, you can repurpose that into a live and talk a bit more about it. You can give people tips and techniques. So similar to this one, I'm giving some tips on going live. So you can do lives about tips and techniques that are related to your particular industry. You could do a wrap up. So if you had a number of different posts or maybe a theme for the week or a month, you could do a wrap up on a particular topic that you've discussed. If you're launching a new product or a new service, or you have a new business update, then it's great to go live and update your audience on those topics. So the list is really endless in terms of what you can do. You can even do something like a particular topic or contentious topic in the news. You can discuss that and have a discussion, a two-way discussion with the participants that you have on your live. But as you can imagine, it's not, it's got limited functionality, especially compared to, for instance, Facebook Live and other online tools. So sometimes you have to just treat it like a classroom environment. So if you want to give any prompts, you could maybe use, for instance, a flip chart, or have a poster up on the wall. If you wanted to discuss something and you wanted to have something visual, you would literally have to use a live like a classroom situation, because it's not like you can share your screen or anything like that. So now I'm going to go through some user tips in terms of what you should do and what the steps you can take to produce a live. One of the first things you need to do is produce a cover photo, or even think about what the title is going to be, because when you actually go live, if you're going to add your live to your feed, sometimes, and it's happened to me, you don't want a picture of yourself like or a funny face, because it will be a still. So sometimes it's really helpful if you do have a cover photo, and when you actually go live, at the end of it you will be prompted to add a cover photo, and it also prompts you to go through your actual video and choose a sequence. So if you have a sequence where a part in the sequence where you're smiling and you feel that that's a great picture you want on your profile, then you can use that in the sequence. Also think about your caption, because when you get to the end of the live, you'll be prompted to write your caption, which you would have at the end of your live video. So always have that prepared so that you can cut and paste it into your live at the end, so you have a caption, so that if people look at the video, they can see the caption and see what it's about, and that's really helpful to help people to engage with that post. So in terms of the steps you need to take, think of a time when find a time when your users are most likely to be online. So if you look on your Instagram profile, at the top there's those 3 lines, and you can go into the insight section and find out when your users are most online. And then when your users are most online, they're mostly online around 4, then that's 4 in the afternoon, and 4 in the afternoon is a good time to hold the live. So in order to launch your live, you just do your swipe right, or because you're on this way, swipe right, and then in your feed, and then you get prompted to have like a live, a story, or reel. So obviously you choose the live. When you go live, it does take a couple of minutes for Instagram to alert all your audience and your followers. So what you can do within that time, and what I tend to do, is I go into the comments and I add the topic that I'm going to be discussing in the comment section, and then I pin that comment. I haven't done that last live I did. I completely forgot to pin it, but it's really important that you pin it so that topic is at the top, so when someone enters a live, they can see what the actual topic is. Because sometimes you go into people's lives and people are talking, you think to yourself, what are they talking about? I have no idea. So it's really important that you, in the comment section, just add the topic of discussion and then pin it to the top, so that when people enter live, they see what the topic of discussion is, and they don't, they can make a choice about whether or not they're going to stay, or if that live is going to be useful. Then as you're facilitating or presenting live, I should say, not facilitating, as you're presenting in live, always wave and welcome your participants as they come in. I always think it's good to do that. And also as well, write some notes. So like I said, I've written some notes here. You don't have to be a newscaster, you just need to be authentic. So if you have to refer to your notes, I think it's a really good idea to do that, because it just means that you have a topic of discussion. Sometimes I go into lives and I see people going round and round in circles, because they're just kind of speaking to the screen and they're trying to seem very professional and know what they're doing, but really they're going round in circles because they haven't prepared what they wanted to discuss, because sometimes they think that they have to do that. But even when you're doing training courses, you have an event planner or a script, sometimes as prompts with just notes, bullet points. So use notes. That's a good idea, because hopefully you appreciate the fact that I've actually prepared some notes and taken some time to prepare some content for this IGTV. It would have been live as live, but for this IGTV, so that you can get some value from it. Also as well, what you then do is that you record. Once you've recorded your live, at the end, ask questions if the people are in the room, because what you also will find is that during your live, people will dip in and out. So you do find that some people go live for an hour, and the reason why they go live for an hour is because people will dip in and out of the live. You won't have people that are there all the time, and I think a lot of people just want to, because it's good for the algorithm, just spend time there even if there's no one there, because Instagram likes that. So that's why a lot of people go live for quite a long time. But at the end, with the rest of the audience that are there, just ask any questions, and then when you want to end the live, there is a X at the top of right hand corner, so you just select that to end the live. And there's been times where I've done lives, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't find an exit button. It doesn't matter, because sometimes it just shows that you're human. All these things happen to everyone. Then if you're doing a live as an individual, so by yourself, you can save the recording, and then you can add it as an IGTV video. So even if it's a live, you can save it, and then people can use it and can see the IG live. And that's another reason why it's good to prepare, because then you can have a video that is good enough to be on your IGTV. If you kind of do a live where you're kind of rambling and you're trying to come across professional but you're going around in circles, you're not going to want to put that on your feed. So you really want to ensure that if you're doing a live, that you can then add it to your IGTV, because then that's a really good use of your time. Imagine if you did a live and like maybe 1 or 2 people turn up and you spent, you know, an hour or whatever on that live. You know, as a business owner or as a content creation, that's not very effective use of your time. But then if even a few people turn up and then you're able to put on your IGTV live, IGTV feed, and then people can look at it whenever they want, and you get maybe 60 people look at that, then that's a really effective use of your time. So it's always worth preparing for anything. And then so once you save the recording, if you're doing IGTV live as an individual, you know, then you're prompted to save your cover photo, and then you're prompted to like add a title if you just have like an image that you're going to use as a still, and then you can add your caption at the end, and then you can then save it onto your onto your Instagram, and also you can save it onto your Facebook if you have a Facebook page. Then if you do collaborations, I think in terms of facilitating collaborations, it's a lot easier to do, because you can have an interview, you can bounce off the other person, and you have a bit more of a conversation. So I do like doing IGTVs with collaboration, just because you can have a richer discussion and also learn a bit more about whoever you are presenting with, especially if that is a peer or someone that's in your network. So it's a great way of building relationships. So to actually do a live, one of the things you have to remember is whoever launches a live, the one that launches it on their account, they will house that video. So that's going to go on their IGTV live. At the time of speaking, last time I did a collaboration, you could not then share that video or save that video. So that was one of the issues I had with some times you do a collaboration and then the other person says, hey, can you share the video so I can add it onto my page? And for some reason Instagram doesn't allow you to do that. But what you can do is there's loads of apps. So there's an app called V Recorder. So what you would have to do is use the app, and the V Recorder actually records your screen. So if you use the app on your phone, you can just launch the video that was on your collaborators page and just record it. And then at the bottom there's like a little orange dot where it's just like where you stop and start it. So people will see an orange dot. But what you can do, because that's kind of where you actually using it on your phone and you're actually pressing on it and stopping, you know, pressing on it and stopping and starting, so there's like an orange dot there. But what you can do is you can just cover it over with subtitles or a caption. Because then if you're actually using the other person's recording, again, of course, you can then add captions to that video. Yeah, so then when on live, what else have I got? So when you're presenting and you're on a live, so you're delivering it, you're hosting it, and you have a co-presenter, you have to then sometimes just message your co-presenter or let them know, obviously when you're delivering it or when you've launched it, just so that they then enter the live. Because when they then enter the live, their name appears at the bottom, so you have all the names coming up from the bottom. And then what you do to join, so that you can add them as a co-presenter, you click on their name, and then when you click on their name, you'll be prompted with one of the options, which is join. And then when they actually join the live, that's when you can have the split screen. And I've heard that there's discussions earlier in the year from Instagram about adding more than one collaborator, because at the moment you can only collaborate with one person. But I can imagine that this is something that Instagram is going to want to do, because as you can imagine, you've got Clubhouse where you can have more than one person in a group speaking. So, you know, they always do that, don't they? So, you know, you've got Reels that are very similar to TikTok. So they're going to really capitalize on that market. And one of the things that you should be also aware about is, and just aware of, is that people dip in and out, as you can imagine, from lives. Sometimes it can throw you off balance because people are entering and leaving. But I would just say, just ignore it and not necessarily even make a judgment about it. Sometimes people may just join on the off chance. Sometimes people, and I had it before, people have just joined just to say hello and, you know, hope it's going well and just to give some support, but they can't stay for the whole time. So people will dip in and out, and that's why I said some people just run lives for about an hour just so that people can dip in and out, and as they see people join, then they may actually just go over the topic again. If they got a short presentation, just constantly repeat the same topic so that people are getting that tips, and then they're also benefiting the algorithm because they've been doing a live for about an hour. And also people may think to themselves, and I've been, not even think to myself, I've been told, you know, I don't necessarily want to do a live, every time I do a live people don't join, or I have 1 or 2 people, and I would say it's similar to anything. So if you were to launch an Instagram account tomorrow, you wouldn't get as many likes as you did before. With reels, with stories, everything takes time to build up. So yes, when you first start live, you might not get the audience that you want. You're not going to get, you know, a lot of people, but as you continuously keep on going live, and then if you add it to your IGTV and people see the value, then they might actually watch it. But, you know, lives are quite difficult because, you know, sometimes it's really good if you can really announce your lives. So I tend to try and announce my lives using the countdown sticker in the stories. Even better if you can actually share it in a post and actually say, I'm going to be going live every Tuesday at this time, and then choose a time when most of your followers are online, and then that would just ensure that you have the audience there to listen to your live. But also as well, one of the benefits of having a very small audience is that you have that time and to fail and to kind of practice and do that trial and error. So for instance, if you go equally, if you go online and you see that no one's online, or you have very few people, you know, you can just practice and do a live and just have a opportunity just to practice using all the functionalities and get comfortable with it. And then, you know, then over time you can start just announcing the lives and doing your lives and start building your audience that way. So starting with a very small audience is also beneficial because it gives you that opportunity to try and test it. So that is my IGTV. I hope that you have found it useful. If you have listened to the end, thank you so much for listening to it. Always, thank you so much. Happy Sunday again, and enjoy the rest of your day.